In the opening scene of the movie, we see a woman named Jania Wilkinson carrying her daughter out of the hospital. We do not know the details of the situation, but the scene shifts to her apartment where she wakes up beside her daughter the next morning. Here we get to know that she is a single mother living in a rundown apartment with her frequently ill daughter, Arya. One morning, while bathing Arya and preparing her for school, Jania warns her not to touch her science project. Arya expresses frustration over being unable to bathe herself and tells Jania that their teacher told her that her mother could not afford her lunch. Arya discloses that the teacher commented her inability to afford lunch in front of the whole class. Hearing this, Jania is upset, but she tries to focus on getting to work. On her way out, she gives change to a neighbor in a wheelchair named Benny, angering her landlord, who threatens eviction unless rent is paid by 10 a.m. Jania promises to pay the rent by that time, that very day, and leaves for her daughter's school. After dropping Arya at school, where the principal gives them a strange look, Jania heads to her grocery store job. Here we see that the store is already overcrowded with customers waiting in a queue. Here she is met by her rude boss, Richard. He explains to her that one of the employees has taken a sick leave and hence, Jania needs to work overtime that day. While doing her job, a customer throws a bottle at her after she refuses to accept a WIC card for non-eligible items. Her unsympathetic boss orders her to clean up the mess. While in the back, Jania is met by one of her colleagues who asks about how she and her daughter are doing and offers some financial help. But being a good human being, Jania refuses. This is where we see her integrity, because even after struggling financially, she does not take financial help from others. Suddenly, she receives a call from Arya's school asking about her bruises, and Jania had to explain to the school authorities that the little girl fell in the bathtub the previous day. The school principal wants to talk face-to-face with her, and she is called to visit the school immediately. She explains this to Richard, and although being reluctant at first, he allows her to take a break and visit the school, but demands that she returns in 30 minutes and refuses to release her paycheck. Jania rushes to the bank to withdraw money for Arya's lunch, but the line is too long. Jania meets with the branch manager Nicole and asks her to process a withdrawal of $40 for her daughter's lunch, but the manager refuses to cooperate and asks her to join the line of customers. To save time, Jania leaves the bank and tries to visit the school. At school, she is confronted by the principal and Child Protective Services, who take Arya into custody because Arya looks malnourished and her clothes look dirty. Jania pleads for her daughter and to give her medicine, but they leave giving only their contact card. Devastated, Jania drives back to work in the rain and in a rush, she accidentally cuts off a man named Oliver, who turns out to be an off-duty police officer. He throws his drink at her and runs her off the road by hitting her car. The cop even threatens to harm her and end her life in a legal way. A female cop named Sam arrives at the scene, but as Jania's license had expired, she gets a ticket and her car gets towed. Even though completely drenched, she eventually returns to work, only to be fired. Jania pleads with Richard to save her job, but the unsympathetic man just berates her and asks her to leave the store immediately. Richard again refuses to give her paycheck immediately and decides to send the paycheck via mail even after getting to know that she needs the money to pay for her daughter's lunch. When Jania gets home, she finds her belongings thrown out, which means that she has been evicted. She starts crying when she sees her daughter's medicines and school project lying outside in the rain. She gives out a loud cry and returns to the store to confront her boss and ask for her paycheck as it is her last hope of survival. But while doing so, two armed robbers break in. One of them sees her name tag and calls her by her name and demands Arya's backpack. When Jania refuses, she is assaulted. During the struggle, she grabs the gun and shoots the robber. Richard accuses her of planning the robbery as one of the men had called her name, but she tells him that the robber knew her name from her name tag. Richard does not believe the explanation and decides to call 911 and reports her to the police. This is where Jania snaps and fatally shoots him and flees, taking only her paycheck. The cops arrive at the scene and check the security cameras. They also talk with the employees of the store, and one of them vouches for Jania that she is not capable of doing a planned robbery and adds that she has been going through a lot recently. At the bank, a teller named Stella refuses to cash her paycheck without a valid ID. A desperate Jania pulls out the gun, prompting the teller to cash the check. A silent alarm is triggered by her without Jania realizing it. The bank manager Nicole and the cops get alerted by the alarm. The cops call the manager, and while on the call, Nicole mistakes Aria's science project as an explosive. Nicole alerts the cops about the explosive, and we understand that the bank staff and the cops think of the situation to be a bank robbery. Detective K. Raymond and Detective Grimes visit Jania's previous apartment, and they see all her belongings on the streets. Seeing this, K. Raymond is reminded of her own personal struggles, and here we get to know that she is also a single mother and finds it hard to make ends meet. They are also alerted of the alleged bank robbery and head to the venue. The bank manager, Nicole, recognizes Jania and tries to calm her. A lot of cops surround the bank, and Chief Wilson also arrives at the scene where he is briefed about the situation. Meanwhile, the press also arrives, and the situation is broadcasted live on television. Raymond, a former army negotiator, offers to speak with Jania and hence calls the bank manager's number. They begin to build a rapport over the phone, and here Jania confesses that she is not robbing the bank. She explains that she had only come here to cash her check. Raymond asks her to surrender and come out of the bank. But seeing Officer Oliver in the live broadcast in the television, Jania thinks that he will shoot her dead and hence denies to exit. An elderly couple get frustrated of the situation and decide to leave the bank, and Jania decides to leave them unharmed. Post this, she commands Nicole to lock the front doors so that no one from outside comes in. Meanwhile, a bank teller, Raya, secretly live streams the situation using her phone, and all the conversations are streamed live. Jania confesses that she has been having a very hard time and that no one cares about her and her daughter. Everyone gets to see what is going on, and after knowing Jania's side of the story and understanding how much she has been suffering, the public sympathizes with her. Supporters gather outside the bank in her support. After Jania hangs up, the stream is jammed by police. Jania requests Detective Raymond to remove Officer Oliver from the venue, as she feels unsafe due to him threatening her earlier that day. Jania threatens Nicole to disable the security cameras, and everyone remains afraid as they think that she is carrying an explosive in her transparent bag. An elderly woman named Isabella, who is held hostage, sympathizes with Jania and asks her to forgive herself. As a token of kindness, Nicole offers her jacket to Jania. Understanding that she will be in prison for a very long time, Jania requests Nicole to take care of Aria while Jania is in prison. FBI arrives at the scene as it has been 12 hours since the incident began and take over control from Chief Wilson. On the other hand, Isabella falls sick as she is diabetic, and seeing this, Jania allows her to leave and even calls Raymond to check in on the old woman. Post this, Aria's science project starts beeping and Jania promptly turns it off, but this makes the other 3 people in there even more scared. Jania explains to them that it is her daughter's science project, and hearing this, they breathe a sigh of relief. Jania understands that all this time, the cops and everyone else thought that she was carrying explosives, and she asks Nicole to inform it to the cops that she is clean. But Nicole tells her that the cops have a policy about explosives, and that is the only thing that is stopping them from barging in the bank and killing her. Raymond, who empathizes with Jania, learns the identity of Officer Oliver and punches him and has him apprehended by Chief Wilson. Raymond demands the FBI allow her to talk to Jania and not act rashly. Tessa secretly writes a note on a bathroom window, revealing the supposed explosive to be a fake. The FBI refuses to allow Raymond to talk to Jania, so Raymond personally delivers a photo of Officer Oliver through Nicole to assure her that it is safe for her to surrender. Jania confirms his identity and releases the hostages, but Nicole stays back to calm Jania. Jania receives a phone call from her mother, and in a shocking twist of events, she reminds Jania that Aria died the previous night during her seizure at the hospital. A flashback reveals that Aria's presence throughout the day had been a hallucination. The school had not called, and Child Protection Services was never involved. Nicole, aware of Aria's death, had stayed to protect Jania from herself and the situation. As the FBI prepares to storm the bank, tear gas is fired, and Jania is seemingly shot. However, this too is a hallucination. In reality, Jania peacefully surrenders to Detective Raymond, with Nicole by her side. Although she is arrested, the public sympathizes with her situation as everyone now understands her struggles. This is how the movie ends. This film clearly depicts the daily struggles of single mothers and delves into themes of economic hardship, systemic failure, and maternal resilience. If you like this recap, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so that you get notified of all our future videos. Please also check out the other videos from our channel.